Let's uncover the secrets behind a career with purpose.
Join us as we speak to people that turn their biggest passions into their life's work.
I love it. And inspire you to become the superhero of your own story.
Today's guest is Rosa Bergmann, mother and founder of Hobby Lobby, an award-winning NGO offering free leisure activities to kids and teens from underserved communities across Austria, Germany, and Romania. Rosa, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
We always want to start this podcast by just asking, how would you describe what you do and what Hobby Lobby is to a family member?
What do I do on a daily basis? I run the organization since I founded it 6 years ago. I run it. I'm mostly responsible for scaling and also strategy and fundraising. And Hobby Lobby, you described it perfectly. We offer leisure activities like basketball, but also pottery, photography, science, foreign languages. We also had Korean once. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a very nice program that runs for a semester on 14 different locations. And we try to impact the children, that they discover the potential, but also learn certain skills, develop leadership competencies, and so on. Yeah.
Okay, wow, very comprehensive. Cool. Energy.
Yeah, the energy question. Something that we also ask all of our guests, like, what is something that is bringing you energy at the moment?
I would say seeing how the program impacts the children individually, because we hear so many different stories in our team sessions when we talk about how does the program influence the children, how do they develop, what kind of new cute stories do you hear in the locations, and then all of that is brought back. So that gives me quite some energy. And also, at the moment, it's quite a bit of a shifting time, and also a bit challenging, because like we have to see about the budget in Austria, and everything is a bit cut down and resized. But that also gives me energy to fight for, hey, we cannot save money in this topic. Mm-hmm. We cannot like be the ones that or put our resources in certain things, but not fund social things, not fund things that influence the poorest of families in Austria, actually.
And kids too, right? The future.
Kids, their families, the future. So we cannot cut down on or reduce the funding in these areas. So fighting for that and standing up and saying that is wrong, let's not do that.
That's energy bringing.
That's energy bringing, because it's like this fight mode where we still have something to fight for. And I see it as my responsibility also to fight for these children, because we've benefited over 6,000 children in the last couple of years. Wow. And so that's my role, to defend them.
But let's talk about that a little bit more, because your background, you were a teacher formerly, right? So you've always been working with children, or at least always, for a long time before that. So what was that sort of transition like? What were the early stages of thinking, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go and help children in a completely different way?
Yeah, actually, I haven't been a teacher for so long before I found it. Okay. I found Teach for Austria, the leadership program where you go into schools and work together with children back in 2017. So actually just a year before I founded Hobby Lobby. And then going to school and seeing these children, working with these kids, I realized, okay, educational injustice is a problem in Austria. Of course, where education is quite badly inherited. Also, if your parents studied at university, your chances are much higher to also go to university. And if your parents didn't, then your chances are quite slim. Yeah, and that mostly contains school and what they learn in the mornings. But then I realized it's not only the mornings, it's also afternoons, holidays, where we have big challenges in Austria, and also rest of the European or other countries where children are also not benefiting if there are no resources at home. Because if your parents can pay for afternoon education, then you have no access. And all of my children in school, they were like, I don't know what to do in the afternoon. And they were happy coming back from weekends and holidays. And it was like, I hadn't thought of that there is even the possibility that children come back happy from vacation when they're done. Like in my childhood, I was always quite happy when I was off school. So something started to feel strange and off about it. And then I started to talk with them, see, okay, what could you do? Couldn't you, I don't know, go to a pottery class or something? And I just then realized it is crazy expensive to pay for those. And so that stuck with me throughout my whole first year of teaching. And then over the summer holidays, I was like, okay, that can't happen. I need to change it. I found my co-founding team. And we started to think of an idea, thinking of, okay, let's just offer free services for the children and put volunteers to it. It was actually a simple solution.
Yeah, just like a little support program, something you do after school.
It wasn't that difficult. And I think half a year later, we started with the first pilot phase, the first 100 kids in Favoriten. And then Social Impact Award happened. That's when I think also my mindset changed to this could really be something.
And what was like motivation behind you? Like what motivated you to quit your 9-to-5 job, like more stable, more clear job, and like take a leap and actually start your own social
throw
venture?
Away the security of the Austrian support system for teachers, which is a good one.
It's a good one. I think first of all, social impact made a big difference for me because winning that
social impact award,
award made, I think, a really big difference because like seeing we learned a lot there and seeing, okay, this could really be an organization because we already had proof that it worked because we had so many children applying for those limited spots in the beginning. So we already knew, okay, the idea is nice. The children are demanding it. Obviously, there is something we could change. And then also seeing that the people we met through Social Impact Award, they also believed in the idea, and that also then started.
It gives you that confidence, right?
It gives you that confidence, and it also gives you. Of course, it's not a perfect solution yet, and we had still a lot to learn from that to today. But it gave me the hope that it could, be a bigger thing. I think it was about having a bigger impact because, of course, I could have stayed, but I was still young. I could have, I was 23. My doors were open, so of course I could have stayed in school. I liked it a lot. Teaching is great. But the educational system is also such a rigid system that doesn't change since, I think, 1950 or something. So the real impact and the real innovation, might be somewhere else. And I think I had a glimpse of what could have been in the future.
Like a little bit of a vision.
But not like this. What happens today? It's like that went totally nuts. I don't know what happened. If I knew back then, I don't know just joking. It has been a challenging part, but also quite nice.
Yeah, of course.
Both.
It's an adventure.
It's an adventure, and to see how much impact we have today.
Yeah.
I think I already knew that this could happen.
So, like, give us a glimpse of that. Like, quantify or qualify that impact.
So we have 14 locations in 3 countries. Back at the end of 2024, we have offered, I think, 800 courses roughly, benefiting 6,000 children on like 11,000 spots. So we offered 11,000 spots because some of the children reappeared, reapplied over the years. And we have the youth leaders program where we train our own children, or like the children that have been participating in the Hobby Lobby programs, to be youth leaders and to actually take on the role as volunteers themselves and have coaching and so on. And I think 150 were trained in that program.
Okay.
And then also the Nonprofit Competence Center at University of Economics in Vienna, they did a social return on investment study where they actually they see how much you invest in the program, and they monitorize the impact for the different target groups. And they found out that like every euro invested in Hobby Lobby programs has a suicidal impact of 21 euros and 27 cents. So we're almost, it's a lot.
How?
Through all of the competences the children learn, through the networks, also I think since it's a program that very much is a preventional program that really, like, if they weren't at ours, what else would they do? So there are a lot of different impact that is measured, and so that's how this big number comes together. Appeared.
I also read somewhere in one of the interviews or something that Hobby Lobby basically helps kids find their strengths and learn, like become motivated young adults. And the idea is also to prepare them for the challenges of the labor market. So to actually like find a job that they want afterwards. Can you actually like tell a little bit more about that? Like, why is it important? Maybe how exactly do you approach that?
Yeah, there are different strategies. One's for the courses and one's for the youth leaders program. For the courses, it's very low key and actually with a low threshold approach, where we just it's not about the hobby. Of course, it's about chess and it's about basketball, and for the kids, it's only about boxing. But since we have this routine, they come weekly. We train them a lot on basketball, of course, but on the other side, on the competencies like teamwork, leadership, motivational skills, frustration tolerance, conflict management. Actually, conflict management is, I think, the highest impact we see, because when they come, almost all of them say we're really bad at conflict resolvement, and then they get better and better. So that's one for the courses, and also through the volunteers who became role models for the children, and also the youth leaders. So that part is for the courses, and then in the youth leaders program, there's even a deeper focus on this career path, because we really work with them for a whole year. They become volunteers. They get, I think, 6 to 8 workshops, mentoring, one-on-one basis, where we really see, okay, what is your potential? What do you want to do? How can we help you get there? Which school do you want to apply for? What do you want to study? What kind of, all of the questions that are important on the way. And we still see today that there's this connection to the Hobby Lobby people, mostly the site managers, but also the ones that volunteer. And they contact us years later to ask advice and to see, hey, I have this difficult decision. Can I call you? Can I run it by you? And that's also where the magic happens, because
like
they get a community. And in my experience, more privileged children, they have their parents. Of course, they have parents too, but their parents have other options.
Yes.
They can call their best friend.
There's more mentors.
And can my child make an internship at the summer?
Yeah.
It works like that. Austria typically works like that. And I think many countries do. Like,
For
couldn't you please, as a favor? And they need someone
to nudge them
and to make the favor for them. And so sometimes we send. We don't change a lot, because the children or the young people, they have a CV, they have this motivational letter, but when they send it, they get 0 replies from, I think, a lot of companies. And then if I or a colleague of mine sends only the same documents, but I would recommend you to look into it every time there's a reply. So we just help them with small steps. But then again, also they take on a lot of leadership and responsibility for the younger ones. And I don't know if you tried teaching someone at Friday afternoon after a whole school week, but you get a lot of competences out of that, because like you need to calm down a crowd of 20 children that only want to move and chaos. Be chaos. Yeah. So there's a lot in that, I think. And also we tend to underestimate the informal sector. There are studies that like 70% of what we learn and the knowledge we acquire and the skills we acquire happens in the non-formal sector. So not school, not university, but families, friends, and leisure time. So actually,
it has a huge impact on their development.
It has a huge impact. It benefited my life completely. Yeah. Like I was in a dance studio close by, actually where we're filming and recording this podcast. So it was my second home. And I volunteered there. I helped out there. I asked everything I needed to know. This dance teacher. I had a group. Everything. Yeah, I learned so many skills. And
was it when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, I had so many opportunities. And for those children, leisure activity is something that we consider luxury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a privilege, and that shouldn't be in society, because it shouldn't be a privilege.
So basically, you're drawing a lot from your personal experience as well.
Yes.
It's funny though, because we're making a podcast to talk about like finding a career with purpose. Like that's really what we're talking about, and I just find it so interesting that part of why we're doing is just to actually inspire and show how to do this and like why it matters, right? Get different perspectives. But so much of what you guys are doing is exactly the same, but in a completely different way, right? Yeah. It's like practically building those skills, showcasing different pathways for students where they can, get super involved in like this or that. And it's funny that you mentioned the dance, because one of the questions that I had for you was like, what motivated you to become a teacher in the first place? Right? Because that to me is a very selfless career in many ways, right? And obviously the Austrian system is quite like, kind to teachers, but that's not the case in every country in the world. No. And, I'm like, what was the motivation behind like doing this kind of work as a career?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think several steps in the journey, I would say. Some of obviously in this dance studio where I had this great teacher that inspired me a lot, and I loved working with the children from the dance studio because I volunteered there already, and I knew I was good with kids from there because like they admired me from the beginning. So I think some people just have this gene where they
100. I see you from a mile away, and I'm just like, she's good with kids. It's the smile.
And also the making fun with them, and there are some secrets in it, I would say. So it began there. Then again, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after school. I visited a very creative school. And learned some skills there. Then after graduating, I studied economics actually at the University of Economics because I wanted a secure, stable, safe job. Because also my mom is self-employed and my father is also an artist. So
it was chaos.
It was amazing. But like, and I wanted secure and stable, and then something within me always was about impact, and not only impact but justice, I would say. So when I heard about all the unjust systems and everything that is happening in the world, I was very drawn to social policy, and I moved already into that direction of social policy, educational policies. And then during my bachelor thesis, I came across Teach for Austria, and something stuck. I don't know, it hit me. I was like, oh my God, I was meant to do this. And I was in the middle of applying for my master's, and not even, I wanted to leave Austria and do, I don't know, my master's somewhere else. But it stuck. And I was like, okay, oh my God, this is it. You can teach, you can work with children, but also it is about justice and educational opportunities for those that maybe have fewer possibilities. So it stuck with me, and it was like I don't know. It was like a lightning hit or something.
Yeah. It was meant to be.
I just had to go for it. Yeah. And I applied right away, and it happened.
And was it like at elementary school, middle school?
Middle school.
And what did you teach?
In the almost outside of Vienna, in Leasing.
In Leasing.
Yeah, very far. But it was a great experience. And then I think these lightning moments that you have in life, that they just say a lot. Yeah. Also with like, it wasn't Hobby Lobby yet, but like the idea and the concept for Hobby Lobby.
It was already then.
It was there.
Yeah.
I think I was in the shower because like all of my brilliant ideas happen in the shower. I was showering, and it's so simple. Just take people who want to teach and take kids who want to have a hobby and combine.
Yeah.
I think if you're thinking of having a career with impact, those are those memories you need to draw the attention to, because they are quite loud usually. Maybe they start as a small little whisper, but if they turn louder, and if they become something you think about quite a lot, and if it's something maybe you also get angry about, because I was angry a lot about this injustice. So that was the moment when I knew I need to change it.
Did you have one of those lightning moments? Because you're also, for context, like Olga is a social entrepreneur.
Yeah, I know.
She has her business. So, do you feel like you had one of those?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yes.
What was it for you?
When H&M introduced the recycling campaign.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like when they introduced that you can bring back their clothes, the used clothes, to their shops, and you get like some discount for the next purchase. I was like, oh my God, what a bullshit campaign. Like, greenwashing straight on. And then that's what made me mad, and that's when I started to dig like deeper in the whole problem of fashion, and then one thing led to another.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I like about it, because I feel like a lot of the entrepreneurs that we speak to, there's most of the time a lightning bolt moment, but a lot of the time it's not followed by action. It's kind of just like, oh, like this thing upset me, or there's this problem that I care about, or not even that, but it's just kind of like you have an idea for something, or there might be something you're passionate about, but it doesn't necessarily translate into action, right? Like most of the time you're kind of just talking about it with your friends, or maybe you're just thinking about it alone, and then you're just kind of like, oh, that would be cool, and then you're just like moving on with your life, right? So what do you think has, like, what then pushes you to take that action?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think several factors, but it's also, I think part of it is a personality trait, because
Were you always like this?
I'm always action.
Okay, solution-oriented. Love it.
I since I was a child, I was like, okay, I need to change it. Okay, go. There's nothing only about talking. Just do. I'm also not the kind of person that sits and thinks a lot and then acts in the future. I just do, and I learn on the go. And sometimes that's problematic. Sometimes that's also a good thing. I think it's
a bit of both.
Today I know it's both, because it's one of my strengths and something I'm very good at, but also something I sometimes need to
dial down
and okay, Rosa, think 3 seconds. What could go wrong, and then go. But I think it's part of that. But also, I think if it changes you so much that you need to do it, like you have this urge to, if I don't do this, no one will. I think that's part of it, and that's also part of why I then went on during the holidays, and maybe also because I can't sit still, and the idea of 2 months off was like,
oh, for sure,
what should I do? I have so much time now. But like it's a combination of all of those. But I think it's something what you mentioned about like taking action. So I see that mostly I would say all of the time that people have these brilliant ideas, and there are really great solutions to problems already in their minds, but it would, of course,
take work.
It would take work, and I don't want to sugarcoat it, because like it's not only fun.
I mean, of course,
it's such work. It's such a lot of work, and to do it, and even though sometimes people do great jobs in taking action and fail. So it's not guaranteed success as well. So there are a few factors that just change the fortune, I would say. And but I rarely have met someone who says he or she would regret it.
Totally. I don't think I've ever met someone, literally, even if they like fail flat on their face with their venture. I mean, it's just like still the most meaningful thing ever. And to you, do you have the feeling that you were also like this as a kid? This like super solution oriented, action oriented? Because I'm not an entrepreneur, but I'm not like this. And I feel like as I've grown and become more confident and kind of tried to take steps, I feel like I've developed a little bit more this part of my personality. But again, I'm not a social entrepreneur, right? So like, how do you relate to that?
No, not at all. The way I was growing up, everything was very like scripted, and like there was schedule for everything. Everything was very like orderly. And I come from a family of people who my mom is a teacher, my father is a driver, so it's like they have this stability, and my grandparents and my great-grandparents. So like there is definitely super far away from entrepreneurial family. But what I had, and what I also agree with you, I like what you said, was like justice. Like for me, this was somehow like from super early age, this feeling of justice. And my grandma was laughing at me. She thought I would be a lawyer or something, because apparently I always was like protecting, defending the rights of like somebody, or like, no, this person, no, she did right, or like, you know. And my grandma was always like, yeah, you're going to be like a judge or a lawyer or something. So I think like for me, it was a deep sense of justice, and this also what manifests in my business, in what I do. And this for me is like one of the main drivers and motivations.
It's funny because my grandmother always said that I was going to be a lawyer as well. Yeah. I think it's just funny. People that tend to talk about injustices or show injustices, they tend to then also do something with impact, I would say, because there's so much injustice in the world, so too much. If no one changes that.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, what I also find interesting about this whole injustice topic is like, you know, you on your LinkedIn bio, it says social entrepreneur. That's the first thing, right? But a lot of people have no idea what social entrepreneurship is. So like we've actually kind of gotten to a point where we just try to like not talk about the term so much, because it carries a lot of meaning depending on the context, the country. But still, most people would not equate social entrepreneurship, in sort of mainstream knowledge to like having an NGO, to like running a non-governmental organization, right? Which is like the focus is not for profit. It's like, it's mostly impact focused, and then the money piece kind of comes in. So how, like, what is that like for you? Why do you consider yourself then, a social entrepreneur when you're building an NGO?
I think that's mostly part of why I put it there, because it has been quite a journey. Because since founding, and like today, no one questions it, because today we've had quite some successful years after us. We've been growing a lot. We've been scaling. So what Hobby Lobby is today is mostly seen as a good example of how you do it, and that gets a lot of recognition, and also the success stories or whatever, and media coverage. But it wasn't always like that. In the beginning, I struggled a lot with all the terms: social business, NGO. What do you want to do? So many people.
It gets a little nerdy.
Yeah,
right?
It gets a little nerdy, and it's so annoying because you just want to change something. Shouldn't be such a big deal. And then there were these people that always asked, and what is your business model? And I was always like trying so hard to come up with the business model. And then one day I was just like, just leave it. It's like, schools are important. Schools are amazing. Show me their business model. They don't have any business model either. But it also can change, because of course, right now, we're most part of our funding is non-profit orientated, but we also have these partnerships with companies, and that could get bigger and bigger. The focus is not on that at the moment. We have a few that are going quite well, But at the other end, there are some grants and foundations we work with closely, and that has been working better in the last couple of years. So we've been focusing on that. But I think for me, with my background in studying economics, it's just about the confidence to say, I'm not someone, or maybe put it the other way, I'm running a business with 25 people. I do as much as every other manager. So, of course, I'm an entrepreneur. I work my butt off daily, having two very small children. And like, it's a lot. And I should be proud of that. And if we don't, and I think it's also a female thing that we always try to
put it aside
and not be proud of it, because I raise 2 million a year. Show me someone else that does it. So you need to step in with the confidence and be proud of what you build as well. And that's why I put social entrepreneur even before Hobby Lobby, Forbes 30 under 30 and all of that, what you just put on LinkedIn because it's LinkedIn. But and I've been defending myself for, and also having these hard questions. And of course, we should talk about it but it's just, sometimes it's just klein in German. This, it doesn't really matter. It's terminology. But is it an NGO? Is it a social business? What is it? But But if you see yourself as someone who runs this, operates in that field, I think I like the term social enterprise. Actually, in German, I would say I'm a Sozialunternehmerin. So because
it carries some weight.
It carries some weight, and it doesn't. It's not so much about is it an NGO? Is it for profit? Is it partly? Is it social business? Yeah, shouldn't be that focus.
You mentioned. There is a problem and it's a no-brainer. There is a solution. Bring them together and here we are. But then the question is money, right? Yes. How do you fund your project? Where do you get the money? Is it even possible to fund this project? Just from a perspective of maybe someone who is just starting out, how does it work for you?
Or how did it work?
Or how did it work for you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was quite fortunate because in the past 5 to 6 years, we've been always very successful, I would say, in that area of fundraising. I have fundraising boots. I say to my team.
Do you have literal boots?
I literally have no boots, but it's imaginary boots that I put on when I need to run and fundraise. I think there are a few factors. I think the one thing about the idea is that the idea is really fitting the problem. So we've been piloting, we've been impact measuring. So we have all these things that are necessary, the data points.
Yeah.
And also I think 2/3 of our courses are only to put it that way, 2,000 kids are running in the programs right now, but 3,000 would like to. So we can't even. We have very long.
There's even more demand.
There's even more demand.
Supply for
we have long waiting lists. For example, we also have that impact data by now. I think it's one thing that was quite smart from the beginning. I the second or third person I hired was an impact measurement job on a mini job basis, very small back then. Now it's quite big, but the role was quite important for a fundraising strategy because you need to show the impact and you need to show what the children are benefiting, not only offering something but also seeing how it changes the children when they participate. So that was one thing that helped a lot in fundraising. And then I think it's also that people we fund, the people we try to fundraise with, or how do you say it? People.
Yeah, the people who fund you.
Yeah, the people who fund us as an organization also have the trust that we are doing great programs with it. I think we can bring them the confidence or the trust that it's well used. But it has also been difficult at the beginning because at the beginning I had to make people see that the issue is actually an issue because it's not as easy as, we need clear water to survive.
Or like kids need education.
Or the kids need education.
People would be like,
period.
oh, they have education. What's the problem, right?
Yeah, and kids need informal education. That is something people just haven't thought of. And then Corona happened, actually. And with the COVID pandemic, it was quite helpful, actually, for our fundraising, because people had their children at home and they realized
they were going crazy.
Yeah, they're going crazy. And they also the people that rely on soccer, piano lessons, dancing, they couldn't do that anymore. And they realized, okay, of course, if you have no access to that, big problem. So I think that helped a lot. And then more on the technical side, I don't know if that interests you as well, but for someone who is just starting, I would always suggest find those that are doing it already in the field you want to be active in, and just ask and see and copy. You don't need to
reinvent the wheel.
Reinvent the wheel all the time. You just see, okay. And then I just started Googling some organizations I came across through Social Impact Award, former winners, people that are already having great impact, and see, okay, who is funding educational projects. And so I just starting applying, and
asking
of course
people,
asking people. But it's and that's the unfortunate part. It's also a networking job, and I hate it. I'm really not good at networking and asking people for something. So I tend to struggle with that. So I like to hide behind applications, and it's just easier for me to write proposals, design some nice graphics on the side. So that's my kind of strong suit, I would say, and it's where I focus on.
Yeah.
And you also need to see in your team
who has the skills,
right?
Yeah.
Who is this kind of person that can talk anybody to doing everything. So they should probably fundraise for you, because they will
do a good job.
If you and I see that at the moment in our team as well, if you can't meet the people that are in charge of these decisions and in mostly up way up in high level positions, then, for example, corporate fundraising isn't for you. And we also have been struggling with that. And our corporate fundraising comes mostly from companies that came across Hobby Lobby or were aware of that is
what you do and
what we do, and that we operate very professional. And so they asked us. So for us, there is a gap, and it is way easier with foundations, for example, because they see the track record, they see the quality, they see the impact, and they want to invest. So I think you need to, and I think that we could have done that sooner, to see what is your fundraising strategy, what is your lucky horse, I would say, in a way, where do you want to invest your time? Because like going after one company that is supposed to do a partnership with us, or applying for one grant from a foundation, I would always go for the grant. Because it's just what I do better, and also with a bigger impact, because then you can, I don't know, have 100K or something. And from corporations, it's usually smaller parts. So you need to know where you focus. But that is also something about knowledge. And I think that is something I got from Social Impact Award, for example, or other accelerator programs, where you train these kind of skills, and where you see and where people help you.
At the end of the day.
Definitely.
And for the people who are not very familiar with fundraising, what would you say, like, maybe answering the question, what percentage-wise in terms of funding you have more from corporation funding or from public funding, and maybe a little bit on the difference, and where is it easier to go, like to draw a bit of terminology on this?
I can try, but it shifts. So we shift every year in the percentage. So sometimes it's more public funding, sometimes it's more foundations. The smallest part is donations and corporations. Corporate fundraising is about 5 to 6, 7%, something about of our budget at the moment, tending to 10. I think it has potential, and it has potential since we're growing a bit. So in the growth of the organization, there's also potential there. So public funding we have from the city of Vienna, for example, or some ministries. In the beginning, I would say it's the toughest because it's quite difficult to to apply for. There's not always calls. You have to find out where, what, how.
Yeah,
then
it's
mostly
quite skill
based and mostly political decisions as well. So you have to get to know the people that are giving out these funds first. So quite difficult. Way easier in Germany, for example. Quite difficult in Austria. Almost impossible in Romania. So it depends. For us in the beginning, it was mostly prize or award money and accelerators, because they came with the skills to train, and then from one to another, and that helped a lot, I would say. And then public funding came, and then corporations came. But it depends, as I mentioned before, it depends on what kind of network do you have, what kind of skills do you have. Do you want to apply in written? Do you want to talk people into it? I tend to get shy. I don't know why, and it's not.
It's normal. I mean, it's money, right? It's a difficult topic. But what I find interesting is that even though you say that you tend to get shy, I have the feeling that you guys already from pretty early on were, I don't know if I would say confident, but from how you're describing it, were not so, like, the money piece was not the thing that was going to maybe stop you from doing the work. Is that, would you say that that's true or no? Because, and to contextualize the question, I have the feeling that a lot of the entrepreneurs that we see in the program, or the ones that I've met, or I don't know how it is necessarily for you, but I have the feeling a lot of them, they have a great idea, or they have a problem that they really care about solving, but then this sort of, all right, how do I actually make money from this, or how do I fund this, ends up being sometimes kind of the key blocker of them actually making this a thing, right? Because also you have to be a salesperson, you have to be super confident, you also have to kind of believe that this is something that's worth funding, right? And finding this slot, especially in an economic context that's sometimes a bit challenging, is difficult. So how was that for you?
It's nice that you see us differently.
I would say. I feel like that's how kind of you're describing it.
I think it's also becoming from we always had enough to continue and to even scale, and we've been scaling quite quickly. So maybe that also gives the impression that we've been doing quite well, and we've been doing quite well on that side. But also money is the factor that limits us. So that we have, I think, 6 partners in Austria that want to open a location. We have several other organizations in Romania and other countries that want to start a hobby lobby, but there are no resources and no funding. So I would say, and I don't believe in scaling until the end of the day. So you have to have some sustainable growth. So we couldn't. It wouldn't be. Very healthy to scale like crazy. But of course it's an issue. And I think it's becoming an issue more and more, because now we have such high resources and a budget that is growing, of course, with the growing locations. And it gets tougher to fundraise for, so of course. And the times are uncertain. And so, of course, that's also something we have to keep in mind. But I would say it's the problem of the field. An impact area is always, the issue is always money, because in other cases maybe also other things that are hard to come by. But for us, like volunteers, never been an issue. Of course, we've thought of maybe that will be challenging. At the moment, we have to find 150 each semester, so that's quite a lot of people that are active and helping us. But I don't know, we've managed every time to find them, and there are these amazing people that believe in the vision. And then children has never been an issue. Actually, we could have opened many more of the locations. So of course, money is the biggest challenge, I would say. And but again, I'm quite confident that we will find it.
Yeah, you just figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
It's part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the game. But it's so sad, and I think we tend to say it's part of the game, and it's just how it is. But like, we have so much money for so many things, and it's also how do we prioritize, right? Because we don't lack of money. Yeah, of course we lack money.
But we also don't.
But we also don't because we fund so much that maybe is unnecessary. Yeah. So we need to also be honest with ourselves, because it's always like we have no money, we need to save. The budget deficit is 12 billions, I would say, something.
I don't know, a lot.
a lot. But it's also about priority, because we are all the time deciding on what we are supporting. So
something that we've been asking young people like in the past few weeks, is it possible to make money while creating impact? There were different answers. What is your take on that?
I think he's stopping. No, are you stopping us? No, sorry. Okay, go again. Sorry.
Okay, you want me to repeat?
No. What is my what is my take on that?
Yeah, what is your take on? Do you think you can actually make money while still creating impact?
I think we proved it. Yes. So we have 25 people in the team, all earning money, and I think you can. Yeah, I think then it's and that's also part of terminology. What kind of legal system do you want to operate in? What kind of options do you have? Do you want to have an NGO of social business, for profit, but with impact? So there are a few. There's a lot there, and there are a few options. But of course, you can, and I think we should actually. I think we should shift our focus to only doing good
100%.
And being paid for it. And also with artificial intelligence coming in, so the labor market will change, jobs are going to change, and I think if you can choose, and that's a privilege thing as well, because not all people can choose their career path, but if you can choose, and if you're fortunate enough, and I think we should work stronger for that everyone can choose what kind of job they want to do. But then, of course, you can create impact and get paid for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's interesting because we've also been thinking a lot about the sort of political aspect of the work that we do. Because, there's so many, at least from our perspective, working at SIA, there's so many different kind of social businesses, right, that come out of the program. And they're covering so many different topics. They have so many different formats. But obviously, you guys are doing well. But you guys are also, like, in a way, it's quite political. Like the idea of giving, you're talking about justice, right? And oftentimes, especially nowadays, like justice feels like a very political sort of act. So is that something that you think about also? Like, do you have the feeling that what you guys are doing is like political inherently, or do you not really associate so much? Because, when we start talking about like politics, it's like it gets kind of complicated and very divisive, right? So how do you sort of position the work that you do in that realm?
Yeah, it's always a difficult subject because you try to
walk different lines.
What lines, and you try to stay away from political parties, and to don't get too involved in politics. But then again, as you say, everything is political, and I consider what we're doing a kind of form of activism, and the civil society, of course, is also quite political. So I think, yes, and also everything I do and I lobby for is also that these systems are getting more just, and that
you Vienna hobby lobby for?
I Vienna hobby lobby for, yeah.
That joke.
And it's fun. It's fun because in the beginning it was just this name I didn't really like, that kids loved, so we took Hobby Lobby, or Vienna Hobby Lobby. I wasn't.
It's the pronunciation, Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, they were like, it was anonymous, unanimous. But then with time, I get fond of the name, because Hobby Lobby, we lobby for the hobbies, and we lobby that hobby and the leisure activities and the informal sector also get some power and get some recognition, and of course,
I love that. Yeah, that's cool. As a communicator, I love that.
It just makes sense, and maybe we had to grow into it, but I try to. But then I also try to lobby for fair compensation, but also compensation for NGOs that we don't. Yeah, because it's something. NGOs and also the social sector and impact organizations were taking for granted, I think, at the moment, because we do a lot of work offering free services or sometimes also paid services, but we pour our hearts and our souls into these programs that children, young people, other target groups do better, have it better, have more options, more possibilities, more chances. Yeah, and I think it's time that we recognize these actions and that we as a society, but also the government is fairly treating us and at least not blocking our ways.
Yeah.
And do you think social businesses should be open about their values, about their stand politically? What do you think?
I think everyone should decide on how they want to do it. I think for some people it's easier, and they want to actually be very political. Others, I don't know, shy away from that a bit. But of course, we should stand for our values and our beliefs, and I think we should do it loud and also together. I think we often forget that
the power of the community,
the power of the collective impact we would have if we stand together and say it's not just, it's not right. Let's change that. It has actually in the past there are so many things and times where it has had such an amazing impact when people stood together, being loud, being active, deciding on this is not fair, this is not okay. So yeah, I think we should do that all together.
Yeah. And shifting a little bit more to work-life balance topic, because you have a lot of kids in your life, right?
Yeah.
Not only at work, but also in your family. And how does it work for you? Like, how do you combine your personal life with your work life? How your work life shifted with having 2 kids now?
Yeah.
Maybe something in your leadership. How does it work?
It works. We're surviving. We're surviving. My older one is 3, my younger is 4 months. So quite deep in the challenges of motherhood and of struggling with work-life balance. Since I consider Hobby Lobby my first child, or sometimes they say, okay, this is my first baby, and now I have two more. I try to keep the balance. I have an amazing husband and an amazing support system with my family and friends that are helping out a lot. But I only want to see my children growing up, so I don't have a 60-hours job.
Sure.
I have I work a lot of hours, but I work a lot of hours in the nighttime. So I usually we're usually switching. So I have a few afternoons with the toddler and a few mornings also with the baby. So we try to
it's very structured.
It's very structured, and we try to do it 50-50. And I see that I see the benefits for my children as well, because my older daughter, she has such an amazing bond with my husband as well, and she both of us are very important to her. So it's very important for the relationship, and I really do believe that if fathers, and I know it's also scientifically proven that if fathers tend to take the role seriously from the beginning, so they have a bigger impact in the lives of the children. So that's quite important for the fathers too.
Definitely.
And it's a struggle. It's a struggle. Sometimes it works better. Sometimes we're a bit of the, oh my God, how do we do it? And it's work life or work children and nothing else. So my hobbies fail, my friendships fail a bit. So of course you prioritize, and for me work is quite important. So it gets a lot of time now, and my children are very important, so they get a lot of time. And that's about it. And there are a lot of things that falling short at the moment, and that's okay as well. That's just the season of that. And I just accept that. But you can't have, like, I don't like the image of you have it all, you can have it all. It's not all. You can have some parts, and you can have the parts you put your focus on, and that's work for me. And of course the children, they come first, and then work. But it's not. Yeah, after that, not enough time for relationship, not enough time for friends and hobbies. But I think if you're becoming a parent, and also on the other side, if you're having a business, you need to see, okay, what are my priorities, and what is a no-brainer for me? And a no-brainer for me is that I pick my kid up at 2 from kindergarten.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I believe in the power of the kindergarten as an educational place, but I also want to see her in the afternoon and spend some time with her. And I think, and since that was very important for me and also for my husband, we decided, so this is the main goal, and we will structure around. And if that means that I sleep a little less and I start working at 8 and I mostly work from 8 to midnight, very peaceful time. And then I go to sleep, then I'm a bit more tired, but I have enough. I feel like I have enough of work. I have enough of the children. So because
a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. And so I think that is the secret to it. And because then, of course, I sometimes have the feeling that I'm not enough at home, and I'm not enough at the business, but there are other people stepping in, and that's also part of the magic. So if I make room in the organization, for example, then other people can step up, take leadership there. And if I have this time for my husband and the kids, he also takes over as a great dad.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a lot about, if to sum it up, it's a lot about communication, setting boundaries, priorities, and having like a really rigid schedule, I guess. Like,
yes, yes, that's true.
And just as we're kind of coming more towards the end, and you've covered like so much, but one thing that really sticks with me is the idea of the privilege, because you know, a lot of the careers that we get to choose, they also depend on like the upbringing that we had, and you know, the people that we've seen, the role models that we have. And the idea also of having this conversation honestly is to also like talk about these things. You know, is there someone that, if there is someone who might be listening to this that doesn't feel necessarily qualified about trying to change something in their community, but see a problem, like what would you go and tell that person?
I think that seeing the problem is almost a third of the struggle. Like if you have the problem, if you identify a solution, then you're there, and then you could go, and everything else you can learn. Like everything we do, building an organization, hiring people. Also then firing people, like the toughest experience for me was like to learn how to fire someone if it doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
Horror if you have never done it.
Imagine.
Yeah, and that's tough.
Crazy.
But like all of these business side things are tough, and like fundraising is tough. Everything is tough, but everything can be learned.
Yeah.
And there is someone that has done it before. Get some help. Get something like the Social Impact Award program. It really helped me. I'm not doing this as an advertising.
We didn't ask you to say that.
They didn't. You didn't ask me to say it, but like it really helped. It was my first guidance after finding the idea, and it helped me so much. It changed so much for me because I had someone to hold my hand. And also the mentor that I got there is still part of my life today, 6 years later. And she, if something is not working out, I call her. And there were so many people, that believed, but they also are willing to help and willing to steer you the way. And if it's only, have you thought of asking that person, that is enough. Sometimes it's just, or have you thought of Googling, and then I Googled or read a book and it helped. And so, but of course, it's also a privilege to do it, and a resource thing. And so I think it's also important that we all collectively find better ways and solutions for the beginning phase, because going from a very stable job to an uncertain creating a movement or creating an organization kind of way is tough, and it needs a lot of support. And I think Social Impact Award does that quite well, and other programs are making a great effort to help there. Yeah, and sometimes it's also taking the leap.
100%.
Right? And
it's an
just
adventure.
It's an adventure, and just go with it. And if it fails, then you're unemployed for a while, and then you search another job. And very privileged, but like you can try. And if you fail, give yourself, and that's what I did. I gave myself a year. I said, you have this year. Just quit your job, live out of unemployment, and try it. And if it fails you, by the end of the year, you look for a job again. You start teaching, and I was very certain about that. If the funds wouldn't have come in, then I would quit. Then it was this adventure. But if you have this limited time frame, where you say then you go for it and you give it your all, and then.
See what happens.
Also motivates you more, for sure, having a deadline.
Yeah. Having a deadline always helps.
We know that. Yeah. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
I think we can go to the interesting part of it.
Which is?
The rapid fire.
Oh, she already answered almost all of them.
Really?
Yeah. So I would just kick them out. I would have one more question.
Yes, please.
Actually, because we talked about the adventure piece. Yeah. And to me, it's like... That's most of what life ends up being about, I think. I realize now that I'm a little bit older. I mean, I'm like 26, so I'm not why
You're not old yet.
But I feel like as I get older, I'm also realizing that part of what makes life interesting is the fact that you kind of only have one life, and that all of this is a little bit of like a game. And like sometimes the game hurts, like for sure. And it hurts people way more than it hurts me. But still, if you are in a place like Austria, generally speaking, like even if a lot of systemic things are against you, like there is the space to do something, right? To like build an organization or an initiative or support or a little like collective with friends or whatever. And for you, after having done this for years, it's like, do you have any regrets?
Good question. No, I wouldn't say regrets. I would say learnings, probably. I have a few learnings that I maybe would have done some small things differently. Would have asked for help way sooner.
Yeah, taking the ego out.
The ego out way sooner. Big learning because and also if you start something and then you fight for it, you tend to fight and you're in fighting modus all the time. And that's quite tiring and exhausting because you don't only fight for the good thing that you try to create, you also tend to fight others that are doing something great as well. And I think going back now and thinking of that time, I would have started sooner to just be a little easier and be a bit more gentle, maybe also with others and myself, for example. I'm very hard on myself. And I think that's also something that being a mother has taught me, also being a bit more gentle with the surroundings. And it's not always the best thing to fight. Of course, it gives you energy and it gives you motivation and you have something to fight for. But then again, if you fight, you also have someone that loses, and it's not everything is a competition, and there's so many, this collective impact and collaborative side of impact organizations has some power in itself. So I would say that is a learning for me. And also maybe also say no sooner, because I tend to say yes to everything.
Like doing this podcast.
Yeah, like no,
of course.
And there are a few great opportunities, and
like doing this podcast.
But there are also some that drain so much energy, and if I take myself seriously, and I learned that also by having limited resources, being a mom and being an entrepreneur on the side, or maybe doing both, that you don't have limited time. and sometimes so hard, as hard as it is, you have to say sorry, not this time, please ask someone else. And I think both of that helped me a lot in being more gentle with me, and also looking after my resources, because and that part we haven't covered yet is like the mental health of founders and the mental health of a big one. I struggled a lot with panic attacks in the beginning when changing from secure to insecure job, and still today I sometimes have these panic moments where I feel like everything is too much,
crumbling.
It's that the responsibility also I carry for all of the people, the children that we work for, but also the team and everyone. So looking after yourself is and looking after, like, you're the vehicle of if you don't flow, and if you are stuck, and if you're in the fight modus and draining resources, then you can't help others. And so that's a big learning for me, I would say.
Yeah, the adventure of a lifetime. So lots of learnings for good and for bad.
Yeah, true.
Amazing. All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Rosa. This was super insightful, and looking forward to having the podcast released.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was amazing.
Was awesome.
For me too.
Great conversation.
Very great conversation. Thank you.
Awesome.
If you have a theme or a topic that you're passionate about, or problem, that's a privilege, because a lot of people don't know what they're passionate about. So if you know what you're passionate about, you should really do something with it, because there's nothing better to turn the passion into your job, I think.